the magic garden. Eva had always loved gardens. From the time she was a little girl, she remembered running through her grandmother's backyard, smelling flowers, touching soft petals, and listening to birds sing in the trees. Her grandmother often said, "A garden is not just plants, Eva. It is peace, patience, and love growing together." Those words stayed with Eva, shaping her understanding of life and nurturing a deep connection to nature. As she grew older, Eva dedicated her life to gardening. She tended a small garden at the edge of her town, filling it with flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Each plant was carefully chosen, and she spent hours watering, pruning, and planting with precision. She spoke to her flowers gently, often using simple English phrases she had learned. Grow strong, bloom beautifully. Feel the sunlight. The act of caring for the garden became a meditation, and the garden itself a sanctuary of calm and beauty. The townspeople occasionally visited Eva's garden. Children loved exploring. Adults appreciated the fragrances and colors, and tourists sometimes stopped to take pictures. People admired not only the beauty of the plants, but the peace and warmth that Eva exuded. Her garden was more than a collection of flowers, was a place of connection, care, and quiet joy. For many years, Eva's garden flourished. She knew each plant intimately, understanding the best time to water, the right amount of sunlight, and the subtle changes in soil and weather. Visitors returned regularly, enjoying the calm, beauty, and opportunity to learn from Eva. She often shared small gardening tips in English. Check the soil, trim the leaves gently, plant seeds carefully. These phrases helped visitors connect with her and understand the care needed to nurture life. Then, one spring, a large, modern park opened near the center of town. It was bright, well-maintained, and filled with playgrounds, fountains, and trendy flower beds. Slowly, Eva noticed fewer people visiting her old garden. Children played in the park instead, and families preferred the convenience and novelty of the new location. Eva felt a pang of worry. Her garden had been built on love, patience, and personal care. Could it survive in the shadow of the new park? One quiet morning, while tending to her roses, Eva discovered a small, forgotten box buried under an old oak tree. Curious, she opened it and found a collection of ancient seeds, some labeled in delicate handwriting. There were notes from previous gardeners, hints for planting, and personal reflections about how each flower could bring peace and joy. Some entries suggested rare combinations of seeds and colors. Others described the subtle fragrance that could calm the mind. Eva felt inspired. She realized that the charm of her garden was not merely in its appearance, but in the care, patience, and love that went into every plant. Determined, she began planting the old seeds, following the notes and adding her own touches. She carefully prepared the soil, planted each seed with attention, and watered them gently. Speaking softly, grow slowly, reach for the sun, bloom with beauty. As the days passed, the garden began to transform. New plants emerged, their colors vivid and shapes unique. Flowers that had not been seen in decades started to bloom, filling the air with sweet fragrances. Birds and butterflies returned, drawn to the vibrant life. Eva spoke to her visitors, teaching them simple English phrases. Notice the petals, smell the fragrance. Feel the calm. She wanted people to understand that her garden was not only a visual delight, but also a place of peace, reflection, and care. Slowly, people began to return. Families walked through the garden, children explored the new flowers, and adults appreciated the tranquil atmosphere. They realized that the true value of Ava's garden was not in its size or modernity, but in the patience, love, and attention it embodied. Visitors were captivated not only by the blooms, but by the feeling of calm and connection that permeated the space. Eva also started small workshops, inviting people to learn about gardening and the magic of planting. She guided them with gentle English phrases. Plant the seed gently, water carefully, watch it grow. Children learned to observe nature, adults discovered mindfulness, and visitors realized that gardening was more than a task, it was an act of care, patience, and love. One day, a young girl approached Eva shyly. "I don't know if I can help," she said. Eva smiled warmly. "It's not about being perfect," she replied. "It's about care, attention, and love. Every seed you plant carries a little bit of your heart." She guided the girls' hands as they planted tiny flowers together. Slowly, the girl gained confidence, and when the seeds sprouted weeks later, she felt a sense of pride and wonder. Eva realized that the true magic of her garden was not just in the flowers, but in the experiences, learning, and connections it created. Weeks passed, and Ava's garden flourished even more. People returned regularly, families brought friends, and children enjoyed the process of planting and learning. The modern park continued to attract crowds with playgrounds and fountains, but Ava's garden thrived because it offered something unique: tranquility, personal attention, and the joy of nurturing life. Visitors practiced English phrases to describe the garden. "This flower is bright. The scent is calming. I feel happy here." These small exercises helped children and adults alike articulate their experiences and connect with the magic of nature. Eva smiled, realizing that her garden was teaching more than just gardening. It was teaching mindfulness, patience, and the joy of giving attention and care. Even on quiet days, Eva tended to her plants carefully, noticing subtle changes in leaves, petals, and soil. She reflected on the lessons she had learned. Success and beauty are not measured by size, trends, or popularity, but by the care, attention, and love put into creation. Each flower carried her heart, each seed held her patience, and every visitor experienced the warmth of her dedication. One afternoon, a family arrived with a tiny child in their arms. "We want to learn how to plant flowers like you," they said. Eva guided them through planting, watering, and observing. She explained that gardening was not just about growing plants. Eva was about nurturing life, care, and patience. The child giggled as the soil was pressed gently around a seed, and the parents smiled as they saw the joy on their child's face. Eva realized that the garden's value lay not in its blooms alone, but in the happiness, learning, and connection it provided. Over time, Ava's garden became a sanctuary for the community. Families returned, children explored, and visitors found peace and joy in the flowers. Workshops thrived, teaching not only gardening skills but also mindfulness, patience, and the beauty of caring for living things. People learned that the most important part of any garden or any work was the love, attention, and dedication behind it. Even with the modern park nearby, Ava's garden remained unique. People appreciated the personal connection, the experience of nurturing life, and the tranquility that could not be found elsewhere. Visitors came not only to admire the flowers, but to feel the care, patience, and love Eva infused into every plant. One evening, Eva walked through her garden as the sun set, casting a warm glow on the blossoms. She whispered softly to herself, "It's not the flowers alone that matter, but the love and care we put into them. The magic comes from the heart." The gentle breeze carried the fragrance of blooms, and birds sang softly as if celebrating the garden's spirit. Eva realized that her garden had taught her and her visitors an important lesson. True beauty and magic are not in novelty, grandeur, or popularity. They are in patience, care, and love. Each seed she planted, each flower she nurtured, and each visitor she welcomed carried the essence of her heart and spirit. Through her dedication, Ava's garden flourished. Children learned the joy of planting, families shared quiet moments together, and visitors discovered peace and connection. Every flower, every leaf, and every smile reflected the love and care behind the magic garden. Even as the modern park attracted attention, Eva knew that the most valuable part of her work was not recognition, but the experiences, learning, and calm she offered to her community. Her garden was alive, not only with plants, but with love, warmth, and connection. Every evening, as Eva watered the last plants and observed the blossoms, she smiled, knowing that her magic garden carried more than flowers. It carried peace, care, and the joy of love shared with others. The garden taught everyone who visited that the true magic of life is found not in what we see, but in the care, attention, and love we give.